Try to gain you field trip. Come on. Where is my cell phone?
Actually, you still got Clark here? Clark's still here?
Okay. Okay. Hi, everyone, both those of you guys who are virtual and in person. This has been a while since I have done two things at one time. Am I good? Am I not good? I don't want to stand right in front of it. Okay, so for those of you who do not know me, I'm Katie Rainey, and I am an 8th grade social studies teacher on the Navigators team. Miss Henley, who is still on maternity leave, loving that sweet baby girl, is not going to be joining us on this trip, but instead we get to have Miss Eberle, who is going to join us. And for those of you who are in person, she's back there in the back. Virtual people, you probably know who she is already. So she's gonna become my little right-hand man as we go through the remainder of this trip. Ms. Roughton has been a really great help to me up to this point, but then Ms. Eberle, when we're actually on the trip, is going to be kind of my right-hand person. So we are going to kind of go through everything. I know we had a parent meeting back in December, and I know didn't have a lot of people join or anything at that point, which is totally fine, but I wanted to have kind of one last one so that you guys had a chance to ask me questions going forward, and so that you're not blowing up emails. We don't care if you blow up our emails, but this way at least everybody's kind of exactly the same. Okay, so we will go through all of the procedures of drop off and pick up, and then everything that we're doing while we are on the trip. Ms. Eberle, do you want to run that? All right, so if we're going to talk just a little bit about the drop-off on April 6th, we are asking that students arrive at 5 o'clock in the morning. I know it's super early. But here's the thing that Wiley has to contend with. Our bus parking lot is shared. We have buses arriving between 7:15 and 7:30, so we definitely have to get out of town before that. The other thing is that we're going to start off by going to Bryson City, which is about 3.5 to 4 hours away, and we're going to start off by going to the Great Smoky Mountain Railroad and taking our train ride. So we have to have enough time and also to have at least one rest stop before we get there. So that is why the super early time, I've already heard it from the kids, but I personally like to leave at this early time because guess what? They all sleep. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. So, so that is why the early time. We will not be pulling off from Wiley until about 5:30. That gives about a 30-minute window for us to actually be able to get everybody on, to make sure everybody's there. We do really need to pull off by 5:30. So if you're like not here, the kid's not here, we're gonna be calling like crazy, like where are you? How far away are you? And things like that. We can be a little bit more flexible. The fact that we are not going to DC, that we're staying within the state, that we can be a little bit more flexible. One thing I like to remind the kids is North Carolina is the same size as if you were to turn North Carolina on its side, it's the same distance from Winston down to the tip of Florida. So it does take us a while to get to the mountains, even though it's within our same state. So just kind of keeping that in mind as well. You will park in the teacher parking lot right across the street, and I am going to have one of our chaperones, Mr. Tolbert, is going to be our crossing guard if there's any traffic in the morning or anything like that, or at least to guide you of where to go. Once you get to the bus parking lot, there is going to be a chaperone throughout the bus parking lot to kind of help direct you of where to go. Your kids will know which bus that they need to ride on. I am meeting with the kids on Friday, April the 1st to kind of go through all of this kind of same information of what they need to know as well, so they will know that bus. If you are dying to know the bus today, I can tell you the bus today at the very end, okay? But there will be chaperones there to kind of help guide you. There will be chaperones on the bus too, so no students will be on a bus unmonitored. So again, your child should know what bus that they're going to ride, and there's going to be chaperones there. Your child's going to need to load their stuff underneath the bus. Okay, so they need one suitcase, one like regular size suitcase, not a jumbo suitcase. Like, you know, they're only going to be gone for 3 days, and there's not really going to be opportunities for them to change outfits and have outfit changes. So I suggest one like medium size, like a duffel bag, and then also a book bag for them to take on the bus. And we will kind of go through packing list in a little bit as well. They need to have whatever they want from their suitcase with them on the bus. We are not going to go digging underneath, because literally what happens, it is going to be like organized chaos, and like literally suitcases are going to be shoved under there, because like a lot of times bus drivers, they'll have you bring the suitcase to them, and then they put it underneath there, and so we don't really know where it's going to go. Your child's stuff will be underneath their bus though. The other thing that I highly suggest is either putting a name tag on your suitcase or putting an obnoxiously bright colored ribbon on their suitcase and having them know. Like I have got on my suitcases, I've got a red with white polka dot ribbon that's on there so that I know that that one's mine. Because when you get a sea of black suitcases, like most of them are, it's really hard to tell what it is, and that's a really simple fix to that. If your child has medication, you are going to find me or Miss Eberle, and you are going to bring it to us, and we will make sure that your child has the medication. If they do take medication in the morning, please go ahead and have that administered before they get to the school, especially if they need to eat with it. If there's something like taking at lunch or something like that, I've been trying to go through and really look at those permission slips that were completed at the beginning of the year to have that information as well. But if it's something that you do during breakfast time or something, please go ahead and have that done, because it's only coming to us too, and we're not on all the same buses. So just to make sure that that's gone ahead and been administered. Please make sure that the medication is in a Ziploc bag with your child's name on the outside and any instructions on the inside of the bag. Okay. You can stay to see the buses off, or you can say, bye, I'm going to go back home and go to sleep. Totally up to you, however you want to do it. You would just need to get out of the way of the buses, obviously, and then you can go back to your car and leave, because staff doesn't usually start coming in. I think I'm like one of the first staff members here at 6:30 in the morning. So you'll have plenty of time to get out before any staff does start to come in. So just some behavior expectations for the trip. is that students need to follow any directions given to them by any adult. I've been talking until I've been blue in the face about this with students lately because third quarter, like we're so close to spring break, we're so close to the trip, like, but we're all starting to lose our minds a little bit. So we have been definitely reminding them. I'm going to talk to them about this next Friday too at our student meeting. If a behavior does become an issue, we are going to follow this procedure. First of all, we're going to remove the student from whatever group that's causing them a problem or whatever bus is causing them a problem, and they will be specifically with Ms. Jenkins, who's our administrator. We'll call home, like if it's become like a chronic thing, like we'll call home and say, hey, we're really having this issue. Maybe could you talk to them, sort of thing. And then if the behaviors are worsen or there is some extenuating circumstance, which unfortunately I've had before, we will call you to come and pick them up. So I wanted you guys to be aware of this before even sending them off. In 7 or 8 years that I've been doing a trip like this, there's only been one time that I've had to call a family to come and pick up their child, but it was because of an extenuating circumstance. So packing list, which I know, especially the students are like, what do I bring? What do I bring? What do I bring? So it's pretty simple. You need clothes for 3 days. One of those days we're providing the shirt for you because that was part of the trip information. If you really want to see what the shirt looks like, I do have that as well. For those of you who are in person, I can show you what that looks like. Those of you who are virtual, I may be able to send it to Ms. Everly and be able to share in just a little bit. But we're in the mountains, and so the weather can fluctuate quite a bit. It can be really cold or it can be quite warm in the sun. According to AccuWeather, and my husband tells me AccuWeather is not very accurate, but according to AccuWeather, it's going to be like in the 40s in the morning, upper 40s, low 50s, and then it'll get the high of the day is going to be mid 60s. It's going to be partly sunny. So if you're in the sun, it's going to be great. But if you're in the shade, it's not going to be so great. So I definitely suggest layers. We need to make sure that it is still school appropriate clothing. So like no midriff, none of that. Leggings are fine as long as the shirt does cover the behind and everything like that. I, for one, will probably be in leggings because it's a field trip and not a professional school day. One thing that I do ask, no flip-flops. Absolutely no flip-flops, no slides, none of that, because we will be in the mountains. And as the kids have learned this year, the mountain terrain is not like what it is here in Winston-Salem. So I do ask that tennis shoes are preferable. But if your kids are like me and don't like to have their feet enclosed, I wear Chacos. I'm currently wearing them now. A sandal that does have a strap around the main part of the foot and also the back of the foot as well. But if they want to wear slides or whatever on the bus when they get here, that's fine, because I will probably be wearing flip-flops during drop-off too. But have that pair of shoes, that good sturdy pairs of shoes in the kids' book bag. I'm not as concerned about like blisters forming or anything like that because we're not doing as much walking as we did with DC. When we go on the Great Smoky Mountain Railroad, we will do a layover in the Nantahala Gorge, and there may be an opportunity for them to like get in the water, like little water creeks and stuff like that are there. So if they want to have a backup pair of socks or a backup pair of shoes, if they can play in the water, totally fine. They'll just need to have that in their book bag with them. Definitely a hoodie or jacket. I would not say that you need like a heavy jacket or anything. Again, just kind of layers would be best. Pajamas, any sort of bathroom stuff that they need. Cell phone charger. Definitely cell phone charger because I'm not giving away my own personal cell phone charger. Big other thing is that on Wednesday, we will be having a bag lunch that they need to bring from home. We did talk to the kids yesterday and Monday that asking them if they wanted a lunch from school. Some of them said, yes, I want a lunch from school and I'm going to bring one from home too. So kind of talk with your child to see what they want to do. My major suggestion is go to like Subway or Jersey Mike's or Jimmy John's the night before, have that all set together so you don't even have to make anything. I know that's what I'm doing personally. Small book bag for the bus. They can bring like a regular size book bag if they want, like it doesn't actually have to be small, but it doesn't need to be a duffel bag is the point that I'm getting their medicine. And I highly suggest, I think most kids today have a portable charger, but definitely bring a portable charger or an external battery as well. I would have that external battery or portable charger labeled as well, so that if they let somebody else borrow it, that we know who to give it back to. Okay. One thing that's not up here on the slide is that we are asking for $5 cash to be brought on the bus for a tip for a bus driver, because they are driving us around for 3 days and they're driving through the mountains. So we really want to be able to thank them for all of their service. So if you will bring, and you can just stick it in an envelope, because as we get rolling down the bus, what I'm going to tell the lead chaperone on each bus is just to go around and collect from everybody that $5 cash. If you have it in an envelope, that makes our life a whole heck of a lot easier. And if you can't do the full 5, that's fine. Just give a couple of dollars for a tip. Totally fine. If you want to do more, that's totally up to you. I also put on here a wallet, some place for them to keep their money and to keep it safe. I know it says on here, not in a cell phone case and not for something clear. That was more meant for DC, because one year I had kids walking around with the money in their cell phone and like walking on the streets of DC. Like I could just like imagine something bad happening. I really don't think that that would happen in the mountains of North Carolina. I do know that Biltmore is only taking card or electronic payment, but not Cash App. It's like Apple Pay or something like that. You can, if you want them to get something from Biltmore or give them money, you know, if you want to get like a Visa gift card, that is always a good option. I know you can get Visa gift cards like at any like grocery store or drugstore, but that is a good option for Biltmore. A lot of times people ask, can we bring snacks? Yeah, you can bring snacks on the bus. You can bring your own water bottles. We do ask that if you bring your own water bottles, please make sure it has a screw cap. It'd be even better if it had a straw to it where the liquid does not spill out of it. But, you know, you can bring your own water bottles, and we do highly, highly suggest doing that as well. You can bring your pillow. If you want to bring the pillow on the bus, that's fine. If you want to put it in a suitcase, that's fine as well. Any questions about packing list? And if you're virtual, you can, when I stop for questions, you can unmute because we can't see the chat.
I actually put up on my phone.
Oh, look at that. Never mind. We can't see it. So you can drop it in the chat. Anybody have questions about packing? Okay. So now probably the biggest and most questions is what are we doing? I've had kids all week say, when are we going to talk about what we're doing? When are we going to talk about what we're doing? So here we go. So again, 5 o'clock, 5:30, we're going to leave, and we're going to head to Bryson City, which is towards the very tip, very, very western part of North Carolina, which takes us a while to get there. And we're going to ride the Great Smoky Mountain Railroad, which I highly encourage kids to have a phone or a camera with them because it is absolutely gorgeous. The one really cool thing about the Great Smoky Mountain Railroad is that on one way, so it's divided into kind of the car is divided into 2 sections. So there's 2 seats here and 2 seats here. On the way to the Nantahala Center, you're going to see one side of the train, and then on the way back, you're going to get the other side. So kids are going to get both views. It'll just be a little bit different. I've never actually been on this train ride during the spring, so I'm hoping lots of things are blooming. But I think it's really cool, and the kids are going to be able to see how difficult it is to actually travel on a train and how hard it actually took to actually build that railroad. They will need to bring their bag lunch. I highly suggest putting it in something that is disposable so that we are not having to worry about it. It does need to fit in their bag to go onto the train. We cannot bring any coolers on the train with us. So we will get back to Bryson City around 2:30 p.m. And then we're going to go to Cherokee, which is about 30 minutes away. It's not too far. Where we're going to visit the Museum of the Cherokee. We're going to do a stagger entry. So like bus 1 will go in first, and then like 10 minutes later, bus 2, and then 10 minutes later, bus 3, so that there's the time to go through there. What's really neat about the Cherokee Nation in North Carolina is that during the Trail of Tears, the Cherokee Nation, when they're being forced to move out west, because of North Carolina's mountains, they actually hide in our mountain region. Some of them hide, and they create a second kind of nation called the Eastern Band of the Cherokee, which is the museum that we're going to have see. and go and see, learning about that kind of branch of the Cherokee Nation. We've got a really cool opportunity. They're going to do some dancing is really important in a lot of American Indian cultures. And so they're actually going to do a performance for us as well. And then we're hoping that a professor from Miss Eberle's past who specializes in American Indians is actually going to come and talk a little bit about that as well, which I'm super excited about that. After all of that is done in Cherokee, we are going to travel to Asheville where our hotel is. We are going to be staying, and I don't have it on here specifically because I totally forgot to type it out, but it's the Wingate by Wyndham Fletcher at the Asheville Airport. So Wingate by Wyndham Fletcher at the Asheville Airport. Ms. Everly, can you drop that in the chat?
Yeah.
It's right up there. And so the curfew, and I'm using the word curfew because let's be honest, we know middle schoolers during sleepovers, they're not going to go to sleep at 9 o'clock. And that is totally fine. I tell them that that is their choice as long as they don't hear me and they don't wake me or Miss Everly up in the middle of the night because they have done something dumb in their hotel room or they are too loud, that they are fine. That is the choice that they are making. They will be tired the next day and that's on them. Because I am not their parent and I am not going to make them go to sleep. I will make them go in their room. There is not a pool at the hotel. I would not go to a hotel with middle schoolers where there is a pool. I know, and I'm just saying that for parents because I would not want my own personal middle schooler to go to a place where there is a hotel. And that happened one time when I took a group to DC and they're like, oh, we can bring our swimsuits. I was like, no, you may not. Not at all, none whatsoever. So that is April 6th, our very first day. Are there any questions about the first day? Right? Yeah, I have 3 buses. I have a total of 116 people going. That includes chaperones and the tour guide that the company sends. Yeah, I'm super stoked and excited, but a little bit nervous too. I hadn't taken 3 buses of kids anywhere since our last DC trip, so.
I think I know the answer to this, but I'm going to say it out for the group. Will students carry their backpack with them during the day or leave it on the bus?
It totally depends on where we're going. When they go on the Great Smoky Mountain Railroad, yes, they will carry it with them, but then we'll leave that up to them when we go to the Museum of the Cherokee. And we'll also have to look at what their requirements are, because like, you know, in Washington, like some places said, no, absolutely no, you can't carry bags, but I believe North Carolina is going to be a little bit more lax about that. There you go. So we're going to start waking the kids up. Probably an obnoxious wake up call will come around 6 o'clock. And just for them to start to wake up and start to motivate themselves between 6 and 6:30 is when that will happen. I do not expect to see them down for breakfast until around 7. We will leave the hotel at 8 o'clock because we are staying in Asheville because Thursday is our Biltmore day. So we are going to go to Biltmore and Antler Hill Farms that day. So the way that this is going to work is that half of our kids are going to go to the house first, and the other half are going to go to Antler Hills Farm, which is the farm out Biltmore Estate. They'll do their tours and their activities at those 2 places. Around 11 o'clock, everybody will join together at Antler Hills Farm, where we are going to have a catered lunch from Biltmore. The kids already chose whether or not they had a veggie wrap, peanut butter and jelly, ham and cheese, and turkey and cheese. They already made those decisions. Within the box lunch comes a water, a cookie or cookies, and chips in the sandwich. So, and that's all part, that's already been paid for. That's all part of the price. After lunch, they're gonna flip. So if they went to Antler Hills first, in the afternoon after lunch, they'll go to the house. And then if they started at the house, then they'll go to the farm after that. Around 2:15, when everybody's kind of said and done with, everybody will come back to the actual estate where the house is. We're going to do a group picture in front of the house. We're going to attempt to do a group picture. We'll see how this goes. To do a group picture, that is something that we've always done as a group. It'll allow us also time to explore the gardens there, which I'm super excited about because I've never seen them in the springtime. And then also the gift shop and just like those little things and allow them, because you've never seen Biltmore. It has a nice big green grassy area in front of the estate. So that should be just kind of a nice little downtime for them. After that, you see that we have about an hour and a half, 2 hours to be able to do that. So the kids will have plenty of time. If they want to go in the gift shop, they can. If they don't have to, those sorts of things. At 4:15, we kind of have two options, and we're waiting to hear back from one of them. What I would really like, and what they're really trying to do for us, is to get us a tour at UNC Asheville. Because everything else in Asheville costs money to go to, and I did not want to add to the price of the trip because both the train ride and the estate were expensive things to go to. I didn't want to add another attraction to pay for. So we're hoping that we can get a tour of UNC Asheville so that kids can start to think, especially 8th grade, spring their 8th grade, kind of think, okay, I've at least seen one college, and kind of getting their minds thinking about colleges as well. If we cannot get that tour, won't be a problem. There is a park nearby to just let them play and let them be with each other. They're doing TikToks, whatever they're going to do. Obviously monitored. And then we will be going to the UNC Asheville dining hall. Again, part of your payment already, you've already been paid for, because one of my biggest concerns with COVID was buffets, and I wanted to avoid buffets like the plague. I did pre-COVID, but definitely after COVID, I wanted to avoid it. So what they do is that it's kind of like different stations, and you can go and like be served at that station and come back and eat. So UNC Asheville's dining hall did open up for us to be able to do that, which I think is kind of a cool thing for kids to be able to, hey, I ate on the college campus when I was in the 8th grade. So that is what we're going to do. And then after that, we'll come back to the hotel. They will have some downtime. And one of the things that I tell the kids is that girls can go into other girls' rooms as long as they have been invited in and they are welcome. Boys can go into other boys' rooms as long as they have been invited in and everybody is okay. Genders cannot mix. Okay, so boys can't go into girls' rooms, girls can't go into boys' rooms. There will be common areas like down in the lobby, and there will be chaperones down in the lobby if boys and girl groups want to hang out and all of that. There will be chaperoned areas where they are able to do that. And even on these hangout times, we do ask chaperones to be stationed on each floor. There's usually a boys floor and a girls floor, to have one chaperone on each one of the floors. So if there was something that needed to be addressed on the floor, that we could, and then also in the common areas as well. And again, 9 o'clock curfew, that's just when we ask them to be in their rooms. And the way that that kind of works is that we will go around, each chaperone has a set of rooms as part of their group, and that is the rooms that they're responsible for. They'll come knocking on the door and say, you know, is everybody in here? And even if somebody's like in the shower, we just ask them to like yell out, so that we can at least hear that they are in the bathroom or whatever, to make sure that the right people are in the right rooms. After that is said and done, the door will close. We will take a piece of tape and we put it up at the corner. And the reason why we do that, if the tape is broken, then we know that they've left the room, and they're not supposed to have left the room. If the tape is broken and they did not contact us, then we will have a conversation with them and talk about all of that and see what actually happened during the night. And if discipline needs to follow, then we'll follow that. Usually the kids are so freaked out about this idea of being taped into their room. Like, I will get calls in the middle of the night. They're like, Miss Rainey, our toilet won't work. What do we do? You've taped us in. Because they don't understand that it's like just like up at the top. They think it's like a big old X, and I'm not wasting all my masking tape for that. So we're gonna let them think that it's a big old X, and that if they break it, like, they're in some serious trouble. And again, I've never really had an issue with any of that, and I don't foresee that happening this time either. Usually kids are pretty good at communicating with me about what's going on and things of that nature. I'm sorry, I'm so used to, like, for teaching, like, I have it on animation. I should not have done that. That's okay. So then our last day, which is April the 8th, we are going to wake up around 6 o'clock in the morning, and we're going to pack up, have breakfast, and we are going to head to, with our belongings, so cleaning out those rooms, and we will do a sweep before we leave the hotel, that everybody has everything that they need. for Grandfather Mountain. Grandfather Mountain is located outside of Boone and Blowing Rock. And so we're gonna go and we're gonna do different tours. So we've got a naturalist that's going to do some sort of programming with us. There's an animal habitat little part that we're going to walk through, and then there's like a little museum area that we're going to walk through it, or the swinging bridge, I'm sorry, is the other piece of that. About 12:30, so there's going to be 3 groups, and they're going to rotate through those 3 groups. They'll do 2 groups before lunch, 1 group after lunch. The lunch is going to be a picnic lunch, and it is provided by Subway. Again, part of the money that you paid. Kids have already chosen what they're going to eat. They had the choice of ham and cheese, turkey and cheese, veggie, or a salad. So they've already made those choices, and so we'll have that, and also chips and cookies and water come with that as well. We are planning to leave around 1:30, 1:45, but this is going to be one of those things that's going to be kind of tricky. If you want to go ahead and plan being here at 4:30 p.m. Here's the thing about our bus parking lot in the afternoon. We share it with Reynolds. If you try to get here at 4 o'clock in either our parking, the staff parking lot, like trying to go to an athletic game, you will not be able to get out at 4 o'clock because those yellow buses are there. So we are going to lazily make our way home, hopefully going on the Blue Ridge Parkway and maybe stopping at some overlooks so the kids can take some cool pictures and to actually see what the Blue Ridge Parkway is, because part of my curriculum is teaching about the Blue Ridge Parkway and why it was built. It was built during the Great Depression. To help provide jobs in North Carolina, so that they can kind of like see all of that as well. So our aiming time is 4:30 p.m. You'll pick the kids up in the same spot that you drop them off in. Ms. Boneheimer has told me that by 4:30, most of the buses should be gone and most of the high schoolers should be gone as well, but I will have somebody helping direct kids. If you need them to get across the street, like if you want to stay in the teacher parking lot, that's totally fine. And we'll have somebody being able to kind of like help you get across the street, because afternoon traffic is a lot different than 5 a.m. traffic. Yeah, so we're gonna have students call or text when we're about 30 minutes away. Again, you can park in the teacher lot. What's really important though is please, if you gave medicine to either me or Ms. Everly, please see us when you get back, because spring break literally starts at 2:45 that afternoon, and we will not be here that week until we will not come back until April the 19th, and I don't want your child to go without their medication for that long. So please, if you give medication to one of us, please make sure that you see us before that. And like, if a lot of times we will have the kids, like if it's a morning only administration of the medicine, a lot of times we'll have the kids pack it in their suitcases, so we don't have that issue in the afternoon. But if like for allergy kids, like if you've got an EpiPen, please make sure that you come and see me. And most likely I'll be the one carrying the Eppies. I've got a child with severe food allergies. She's allergic to the world, and so I typically keep all of the EpiPen stuff just because it's usually pretty quick, and the kids know that.
Faster and quicker.
So if you need to contact anyone during the trip or before the trip, that would be me or Miss Jenkins. Miss Henley is still away. If you email Miss Roughton, she will gladly say, let me find out. So a quicker way, if you want a really quick answer, is just to go ahead and email me. It won't be that big of a deal. I have also created a Remind group for parents. I've also created one for students. So if you would like to be part of the Remind group, Remind is a free web-based texting. So this means that I can't get your number, you can't get my number. I won't be able to get the students' numbers, and they won't be able to get my number either. All you have to do is go to that Remind. Like if you have Remind, you can go in, and this is the code. It's all lowercase, WMSMTNP22. So once you put in that code and Remind, then you should be able to join. If you want to join like via text, you can text the number 81010 and then put in that code as part of your text message, and then it'll connect you that way too.
And if anyone needs help using Remind or setting up Remind, that falls under the Everlay skill set.
Yay, one thing Rainey doesn't have to you. So yes, if you did not hear Miss Everly, if you need help with Remind or anything like that, you can contact Miss Everly, and we can give you that contact information as well so that she can help you to do that. This is one of those moments as a parent, if you want to just see how your child is doing and check up on them, you can definitely text me, because that's a safe way to text me. Or it's like, oh my God, I forgot to give them this or something like that. Like, that's totally fine. Like, I'm a parent too, and I like the fact that there's a remind. I did make a remind group for the kids. So like if there's an itinerary change or like something I need to tell them, it's much easier for me to blast a message out to the entire group, rather than like doing it individually and stuff like this. This is also a lot how the kids communicate with me at night. Like I had one girl room one time, their toilet was not working at all. They had already been taped in their room, and they're like, it's overflowing. What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? And so like they were freaking out, and like somebody needed a Band-Aid one time, but again, they'd already been taped in their room. And so sorry, Miss Everly, my it may be blowing up in our room.
And I just want to be really clear, as somebody who used to live in this part of the mountains, please don't panic if your child loses cell signal, because I can almost guarantee, especially when we're on that Great Smoky Mountain train ride, there will be times where your child is not going to text you back right away because they won't have the cell signal to do it.
Yeah.
But they'll be able to tap into Wi-Fi at the hotel.
Yep.
Which will be an easier way for them to do that.
And we're trying to get a Wi-Fi bus, or buses. It wasn't an extra cost, it's just availability. We will not know when until they roll up or whether or not we have a Wi-Fi bus. But it's like I've been telling the kids, like, even if we have a Wi-Fi bus, the Wi-Fi is pretty shoddy, because everybody's trying to get on that Wi-Fi at one point. So that's as much as I know about the Wi-Fi buses.
Hey, Randy, can you rattle off that remind number again slower so I can type it into the chat?
81010. Oh, I know something you didn't?
Yeah, I don't know it off the top of my head.
All right, so that is the end. What kind of questions do you guys have, either in person, virtually? Did I cover everything? Excellent. Well, if you don't have any questions, I'll be around for a few until everybody leaves. If you want to see who your child's with, if you want to see, just talk to me, that's totally fine. Yeah. Spending money, yeah. I would send it there. To my knowledge, there's not anything at the train depot. Biltmore, there is stuff. Grandfather Mountain, there is stuff. Grandfather Mountain actually has 2 gift shops, one at the Swinging Bridge and then one at the animal habitats. The one at the animal habitats, it's really small and it's like crafts, more so from the region, which are really pretty for adults, but I don't know that students are going to be super into it. The one at the top of the Swinging Bridge has like sweatshirts and things like that, and like hiking sticks and like stuffed animals and things like that. I would, with prices the way they are today, like if you're going to spending money, I would aim around 50, just with the way prices are today. But yeah, if there are vending machines in the hotel, I always get this question too. If there are vending machines in the hotel, we let them use it, as long as they don't break it or anything like that. But if I were a parent with my child going on this trip, I would send those snacks versus anything else. I know that Ms. Bodenheimer sent out a message already about like snacks and water bottles, whatever you guys want to donate. If you want to donate, totally no pressure. Individualized snacks. We do have a couple of students with peanut allergies. So please, if you can refrain from anything with peanuts in it or in a factory or processed in a facility with peanuts. Again, that's the allergy mom.
I have a question online.
Yep.
What bus company is being used, and are they experienced at driving them out?
Yes, they are Sunway Bus Company, and that is the only one, is the top approved ones for this county. And yes, they are. They have to go through training and doing a variety of different terrains. And everything in the mountains is pretty paved, so like I'm not like worried. And usually this time of year, it's not like the fall where there's a lot of traffic, and we're also going during the week, so it should be a lot better. And we would not take anybody on like the Blue Ridge Parkway with any of those like spindle curves. At Grandfather Mountain, we don't, so to go up to the Swinging Bridge at Grandfather Mountain, like if you're in a car, you can drive all the way up. But with a bus group, they have to park at the Animal Habitat Center, and then they load a Grandfather Mountain specific bus to go up to the top. And they have been totally trained, because this is what they do for all tour groups. So they're super trained on how to handle those hairpin turns. I could answer. Okay. Anybody else? All right, well, if you don't have anything else, you are welcome to go. If you want to stop and talk with me, see where your kids are, we can totally do that as well.
I am going to